Hey everybody, welcome back to the MINIAC, and we have a live stream tonight because I didn't realize that this was posted on a website about a week ago that apparently there were some spy photos of the 2023-2024 Mini Countryman out being tested. And I have a feeling that my internet is not working correctly, so if I cut in and out, I apologize, but I'm hoping that you're all able to see what I'm seeing here. So let's get to it. So as I've said, this is a new Mini Countryman that's out being tested, and from the looks of things, they're saying it's a Cooper S according to Motor Authority and a few other sources online. But from what I gather, based on a rear photo of the car, and you can see the new quad exhaust, I think this is probably not a Cooper S. I think this is a John Cooper Works. And the reason I think that is because of the quad exhaust. I think that came off of like the M version, like an X1, X2, or even a X3 for that matter. So there is something going on here that caught my attention, and I think it's pretty interesting. Some other little details that might be of interest if you look carefully at some of the elements on the car. If you look at the wheel arches, you'll notice that they are body color, indicating this is probably a white vehicle. But if that's the case, that means that these wheel arches are probably no longer plastic or black plastic. In the case of this, you can definitely see that there is a body color lower valance. There's a body color wheel arch, very thin wheel arch, so it's not the typical cladding that we're used to. There's even the gas cap up here, so you can see the squared off gas cap, and then the new recessed door handles. What you can also see is the new mirrors, and apparently on this version, the mirrors are actually attached to the doors, and there is a belt line around the car, typical Mini fashion. There's some other things going on here. The taillight looks a little strange. There might be something new with the taillights as well. So not exactly sure what's going on there, but it's interesting nonetheless. So the new wheel design looks pretty sharp, a little bit of inspiration from the GP by the looks of things. And what else do we have going on here? The new headlights are definitely an unusual shape. You'll notice that there's very little roundness to them, but you'll also see other little details going on the front of the car that indicate some changes. For one, there definitely is the presence of a traditional conventional style hood or bonnet compared to the original Minis that were known with, or compared to the Minis that we know currently with the clamshell bonnet. So there is change there. But overall, the looks are pretty interesting. So, a little view of the wheel arch. You can see the body color cladding or around the wheel arch. You can also see they've left some of the bumper exposed, so you can see the paint color underneath. So there definitely is something going on here. This actually doesn't look like pepper white. It looks kind of like light white maybe. So maybe they're bringing light white back, or maybe they're bringing pepper white. I don't know. If you look at the interior photo, you can see the new steering wheel. The digital dash looks very similar to what's currently there, but it also looks like there's a much larger head-up display than the previous generation. Rear end-wise, very traditional, or it looks like a Mini from the rear. It looks like a Mini Countryman from the rear. The wiper looks very much like the current Countryman's. License plate looks like it's in a different location now, so there's been some changes there as well. But overall, it's definitely a Mini. It just has some features on it that look very different compared to the previous generation. So I'm curious to hear what you all have to say about this. But like I said, I think that this could be a Cooper S, could be a John Cooper Works. I think it's a John Cooper Works, but I mean, most of the sources are saying that it's a Cooper S. So it could be really anything out there. It could be a John Cooper Works, could be a Cooper S. Definitely not the same vehicle that was out testing the earlier that we all saw. When I showed you all that car early on, that was a Countryman, but it was a Countryman electric apparently. So no tailpipes. This has tailpipes, so there is definitely something going on here, and I'm pretty sure this is the new John Cooper Works. But I want to hear what my subscribers and viewers out there think about this car. Do you think this is the John Cooper Works? Do you think this is the Cooper S? Whatever it is with the Countryman, what do you think of the overall styling that we're sort of seeing, sort of not seeing? There's a lot of stuff that's still concealed, but there's a lot of stuff that we just don't know about this car at the moment. So I'm curious to hear what you all have to say. And my parents' dog has decided that she wants to get my attention. So not sure why. What are you doing? What are you doing? You want to join me? You want to join me? Come on, come on. She can join me if she wants to, I guess. The cat's joined me before, so why not the dog? But I'm kind of curious to see what is coming out with this. I don't know about, as far as performance goes, this is probably going to have 300 horsepower. This is probably going to have the 8-speed automatic and, of course, the all-wheel drive system. But I'm pretty certain that this is probably the JCW and not the Cooper S like all these sources have been saying. I think this is the JCW, which would be rather interesting that the JCW is out testing before we even see a Cooper S. We did see an electric version of the car out testing. So they're moving quickly. The headlights look a little different to me. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's definitely not the traditional rounded shape that we're used to. And it looks like there's some sort of sensor camera system going on in the front of the car. But the grill looks really strange with that thing in the middle. I don't know if that's going to be like a badge or something, or if they're going to find a way to blend that into the grill, or if they're doing that intentionally to hide what's going on with the front of the car. But I'm so far liking some of the styling cues to a degree. They definitely look different. I can definitely see some body lines here with the front wheel arch. There's lots of different stuff going on. Those tires are really wide. I think this is the JCW. Those are really wide tires. I mean, look at that. Look at the rear. I'm going to zoom in on this. So look at the rear tire on that and tell me what you think, because those are some pretty wide wheels and tires. So Sonic Liberation says, would an S have 4 exhaust pipes like this one does? I don't think the S would have 4 exhaust pipes. I think it would have the traditional 2. So I think that this might actually be the John Cooper Works. And if that's the case, maybe there's something else going on here. Maybe there's going to be more horsepower. Maybe we're going to have a 350 horsepower hybrid going on or something. Maybe we're going to have 400 horsepower. How about a 400 horsepower JCW? That'd be pretty impressive. Who knows what's going on here, but it looks like it's a JCW to me. Thomas Moore says, look at the ride height. That would be a key to a JCW versus S. And Thomas, I would agree with you, except I'm not sure exactly what's going on with this, because the rear end looks like it's squatted down more. The front end looks like it's up a little bit. Now, given the fact that they're testing this over in Europe and European markets, I mean, it looks pretty low, but they could also have equipment in the back, which is weighing down the rear suspension. Now, given the fact that this is in the European market being tested, the European market does get John Cooper Works appearance packages on their Cooper S models and Cooper models. So this could, in fact, be a Cooper S after all and not a John Cooper Works, and it just has the styling cues of the next John Cooper Works. But there is definitely something unique going on here, and those are definitely some pretty aggressive wheels and tires. They almost look like the rear ones are wider than the front. But we can definitely see that they are using Pirelli P0s on the car, so there's that. So we know what tires they're currently using on the test cars. But those look much wider than the previous generation, so they could be doing something going on here. This is definitely a pretty aggressive looking setup and a pretty interesting looking car. Now, if you notice the C-pillar, now here's the funny thing. Some people have said that there's a really thick C-pillar going on here, and I just zoomed in on that, and that panel is screwed on to the body of the car. So that is not actually a design element on the car. That is faked. So that is completely fake to hide the shape of the car. But you can also see a much more aggressive rear spoiler with the brake light mounted in the spoiler. So there's definitely more swooped back too. The rake is different. It has a more raked back look. What is going on there? There's things going on here that are kind of hiding what really lies beneath the trim or the cladding on this car, the camouflage. And this is pretty exciting stuff here. And now that I see that I'm going to find the photo. Now that I see that those B-pillar trim pieces are faked, and it's pretty obvious now that they're fake, this indicates to me larger side windows in the rear, possibly. Let's see if I can get a better side view. Okay, here we go. So those are added on. So the windows are much longer and come up to about here probably. and then come down. So the roof kind of has a drop, will probably have a bit of a drop where it lines up with the rear roof, similar to how the current ones do it. But definitely different styling going on here. I'm thinking this could be, well, I initially thought this was a JCW, but it could be a Cooper S with JCW body appearance package, since we know they do that in Europe. But this is definitely a JCW appearance package. If it's not a JCW, it's a JCW appearance package because the body cladding has the typical body painted going on, but this is like all body painted. So looks like we've seen the complete departure of the black wheel arches, but we have not seen the complete departure of the belt line. It just looks like that the belt line is now restricted to the sides. There's nothing along the rear windows. It looks like it's just along the sides and not even at the front because there's no belt line on the bonnet. Now, that could be because they didn't install it yet, or it could be because they're just trying to do away with some of the chrome trim, I guess. I don't know. But it's interesting. It's interesting to see this, and I like studying these photos because it helps me kind of understand what's going on here. The rear spoiler is definitely integrated into the hatch, by the looks of things. A very aggressive rear spoiler, much smaller rear window, kind of like Range Rover Evoque-esque going on here. So similar, so maybe a little bit of the rake back styling of that. I'm surprised to see the mirrors are attached to the doors on this car, because on the electric car we've been seeing running around, the test car for that, the mirrors are attached to the body of the car. So they could be diverging some of the styling cues on the models. The larger ones are going to go a little different direction than the smaller ones. That's what might be happening here. But definitely has the Mini looks to me, the typical Mini vibes. Speaking of vibes, I don't know what's going on with Bailey over here. What are you doing? He's being goofy? Yeah, she's being... Okay, she wants my attention. She wants my attention. Des says maybe it's X3M. Here's a theory. Here's a theory there. They've been talking about the Mini Traveler. If this is the bigger Mini that they're supposed to be developing, this could be the Mini Traveler, and they're testing out a John Cooper Works version of that, which means they're going to be building a gas internal combustion version of the Traveler instead of just an electric version of the Traveler. So that could be something as well. But I don't know. I mean, it looks a little small. But what's funny, if you look at the car in front of it, I just noticed, that's also camouflaged. That looks like, where'd it go? Okay. This looks like it might be the X1, X2, the newest one that they're working on, because that is definitely not a Mini by any means. But even its mirrors are mounted on the doors. That's really strange. I mean, is there a possibility that they wouldn't have changed the roof design of the BMW to make it look like a Mini? But I don't know. So that could be the new X1, X2 going on over there, possibly. Who knows? But there's something going on there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. What else do you all think? I want to hear what everyone else's opinions are of this, because I'm kind of curious. I'm really curious what's going on here. This is kind of cool. The front end looks a little strange to me. The headlights look a little strange to me. The sides show promise. The rear shows promise. If this is the JCW, that should be an incredible car. I would love to see some actual video of this car driving around, not just photos, because all we're seeing is photos right now. These spy photographers out there, I know they have the ability to do this. We're seeing photos. Why can't they show us video? I'd love to see video of this car. And Des just said that other car has no exhaust. So that other car has no exhaust. Let's see that one. Where were we? Okay. It does have exhaust. You can see the smoke coming out of the back. There's a muffler and there's a tailpipe right there tucked underneath. So this might be a 3-cylinder maybe that's being tested, a 3-cylinder BMW potentially. So it looks like there is an exhaust there with that particular car. Not sure this is the internal combustion Countryman, and that's a internal combustion BMW, but probably like a 3-cylinder BMW, likely. At least that's my guess of what it could be. But I mean, there's just a lot going on here. There's a lot to take in on these pictures. I like analyzing these to a degree because it's helped me kind of figure out what is going on here. The shark fin antenna is still there. The rear overhang looks a little short, looks different. It looks a little longer almost, which is interesting. The overall side view of the car, the front and rear overhangs are pretty similar in length, and I'm sure the hard tops will probably be the same as well. I think this could be a new JCW wheel, though, by the looks of things. And I know they're Pirelli P0s. I wish I could actually see what size they are. Now, the brakes look like, I don't know if those are the pistons, so they're 2-piston brakes. I don't know. I can't tell. I'm sure you guys out there can probably tell what's going on there. Looks like similar wheel. Probably it might be the same bolt. Might be the same bolt pattern as well. It might be a 5x112 or something like that, or it could be something completely different. But interesting new wheel design. So we're going to probably be seeing that as well. I'm curious if this is the JCW. That could be the Brembos under there, and they're currently painted in silver, which would hide the fact that they are a JCW. Those discs look pretty large, which makes me think that this is probably the John Cooper Works. But I mean, they could still be anything else entirely. It could be a completely different car. So not sure what's going on there. Definitely wider tires, wider wheels. And these are probably like 18 or 19 by 8s, maybe 18 by 8s. I think they're probably 19-inch wheels by the looks of it. Much more aggressive look. I like the wheel, though. I think that's going to be an interesting look on the JCWs, assuming this is the JCW. You can see the hatch cut line right there. Definitely different. The taillight lenses right there are definitely hiding the actual taillights underneath, because you can see they're bulging out a little bit in a way to kind of like conceal everything. So lots of stuff to take in on these pictures. The hatch cut is a little bit different. So it looks like the handle is, from the looks of things with the rear photo, it looks like that the actual release for the hood is going to be up under the hatch, similar to like the Kia Sport, or like the Kia Soul, or some of the other smaller crossovers out there where they have a nice smooth back for the hatch. They have the badging, and then they have the door handles concealed underneath. So that looks like what's going to happen there, which means the license plate is going to be down in the bumper, which is a departure from the current one, which I believe, yeah, the current one, the license plate's up in the hatch, I think. I want to say it is, because the license plate's not in the hatch in the Clubman, obviously, because it's a Clubman. But it looks like there's a lot of stuff going on there. New rear bumper design. The thing is, I still think there's a departure from the wheel or from the body cladding, the black body cladding, because I'm looking at the wheel arches, and the wheel arches are definitely different. Those are definitely body colored, which could be a couple of things. It could be that they have departed completely from the body cladding, or from the black body panel or body cladding wheel arches, or they could be offering a painted wheel arch option at some point, which is also likely as well, given the fact that some people have been hoping for Mini to return a little bit to some of the previous fun styling hues they used to have way back when. Well, not too long ago, really. Well, if you think about it, it's probably about 10 years ago. But still, there's lots of stuff going on here. That white paint job going on, so it looks like it could be pepper white. I'm not sure if it is pepper white or a different shade of white entirely, but there could be something else going on there. I am genuinely curious what's going on here, and I know there's probably people over in Germany who watch this channel who probably know more about what's going on with this car than I do, because I obviously don't know what's going on here. I just know that this looks pretty nice, and if it is what I think it is, I wouldn't mind owning it myself. I think that the rear end, though, is squatted down intentionally to kind of hide it, or to kind of hide what it is, maybe. I don't know. Styling-wise, you can see the front. So, okay, there's the headlight. And it's a different shape. It's a much different shape. Now, that could be cladding that's intentionally hiding the shape of the headlight, but there is a panel on the front. That grill on the front that we're seeing is fake by the looks of it, based on the from the side view of the headlights. This whole grill assembly on the front that we're seeing with this like weird lens in the middle or whatever you want to call it, that's fake. It has to be fake because based on from the side photos, you can see that it's just attached to the car, and there's even you can even see the screw marks along the front of the car. So they are definitely going out of their way to conceal what is going on here. So I mean, those headlights could be real. They could be fake. That's overlap. It looks like it's overlapping the headlight. So there's a different shape to the headlight, but this concealment panel is hiding some of what's underneath there. So Mini and BMW have gotten very clever in how they conceal their concept cars or their test cars while they're developing them. So this is pretty well done to kind of conceal what it is. I mean, if you weren't paying close attention to it, you'd think it was a Nissan Rogue or something. It just kind of blends in. And Des says he's now looking at BMW X5. I don't think this is the size of an X5, though, but you never know. It could be. So there's something going on. I'm pretty excited about this. I don't know. I don't have anything else to discuss with this. I really wanted some people to kind of like bounce something off of me here. I'm trying to like get some dialogue going on this car because I'm interested in it. I'm interested in what my subscribers have to say about it, but I need more to go on, and I don't have that. You can see a little bit of the interior, new rear view mirror by the looks of it. There's the digital dash, the larger, what looks like a larger head-up display. But I mean, there's something. They're hiding something in the center of the car too, with concealment. So that could be the new center screen. And the only reason why this is pretty obvious is it's over at the BMW plant or Mini plant is because there is BMWs and Minis in the background, except for that, which is a Fiat. But it is an interesting looking. I like the shape, really. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't going to, but I like the dynamic look of it. It has a bit more of a. It looks like it's going somewhere without actually going somewhere. If it were parked, it would look like it would look fast to me. And the current ones, sometimes they tend to look like when they're sitting still, they tend to look slow. But this one kind of has a very dynamic shape to it, and I really do like that with this car. So, I mean, they're going in a different direction with the Mini design, and this could be something incredible if I could just get more information to go on. So they're concealing something in that center stack. But it's a much cleaner exterior with the door handles even being recessed now. So there's that. You can also see what looks like the scuttles are completely gone on the cars, along with the clamshell bonnet. We knew the clamshell bonnet was probably departing as well. But I'm really liking this. Maybe I should do a tracing of this car as well, kind of get an idea of what we're going to be getting here. But there's definitely a lot of body cladding concealing some of the other details, and I'm sure they're going to start revealing those in the next couple of months or years, as it were, since this is probably a 2024 model, which means we're not going to be seeing this car until at least 23. So Azor the first. I'm super excited for the G60. We're assuming it's going to be called the G60. I mean, there's possibility it could be called something entirely different, but we've been told it's going to be using the new FAR architecture, FAAR, which is underpinning the G. It's underpinning the not G. I'm sorry. It's underpinning the BMW 2 Series Grand Coupe. So there's that. And yes, we're going to be getting a full electric version of this car, so that's going to be pretty cool as well. And a full electric Countryman, which is not something we've had before. And I think they also said if that's the case, if they're going to have a full electric Countryman, that probably means we're going to see the departure of the hybrid Countryman. So full electric Countryman probably will have a 200-mile range, give or take, maybe 250. I don't know. If it's designed to be full electric, it probably will. But it's going to be pretty impressive. I think it's going to be an impressive car nonetheless. And I mean, this will become the next Mini family car. Now, what I want to see is the seats might give away. Looking through the rear of the car to see if the seats might give away what it is, and they look like JCW seats, at least in the front. So maybe this is a JCW. Maybe it's not. I don't know. And I appreciate Motor Authority for posting these pictures, but it's hard to tell. They look like JCW seats. So this could be the JCW, or it could also be a Cooper S or JCW appearance package. But those look like JCW seats, actually. So who knows at this point? It could be anything. Sonic Liberation says, I want to see an EV Paceman. Oh, I want to see an EV Paceman too. Maybe this is the Paceman. Who knows? Maybe they're getting rid of the Countryman and they're going to call it the Paceman. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens at some point. And if you excuse me real quick, I got to answer a message because I get interrupted by people when I tell them I'm doing a live stream. They assume that I'm not doing anything else, even though I'm doing a live stream. But Motor Authority has these pictures, the same pictures you're going to find at Car Scoop, I think is another site. You're going to find these same pictures all over the place. So I'm surprised I haven't seen anything from Motoring File on this, unless I'm just been out of the loop for the last several weeks and they actually, I don't know. We'll see what's going on here. Let's see if Motoring File doesn't have anything. Not that I've seen anyway. So I'm looking at Motoring File's website and they're not showing anything. Well, we just know it's out testing, but we don't have any pictures of it. So apparently these other two sites got the scoop on Motoring File on these cars. So there's no telling. But I don't know. What would be hysterical is if this turned out to not be it has to be a Mini. There's no other way around it. But I mean, what would be hysterical is if it turned out to be a Fiat or something. But I don't think it is. But I am going to, I am terribly sorry. I'm going to have to end the live stream just because my parents' poor dog probably needs to go out and use the restroom, and I don't want to leave her waiting because she seems like she's whimpering over there, and I feel horrible for her. So I'm going to wrap it up here, but I want to thank the few people who came in to chat with me on this live stream and check out this car. If you haven't done so, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out my playlist on the Mini Countryman. Go through my old live streams. There's one on the JCW. There's several more on all the other concept cars. They're the test cars that we've been seeing. But go check those out. Watch my next video coming up. I'm going to have some more mini videos coming up. I'm working on some more mini videos as well. So you're going to get to see more content soon. I'm working on some stuff with my own car. But I'm going to let you all go. I want to thank you all for joining me in the live stream. And as always, life is too short to drive a boring car, so drive a Mini.